Welcome to Snetterton for the second round of the Radical SR3 Challenge, where a magnificent field of cars have assembled in the Norfolk sunshine for what promises to be a fantastic race. We'll head down, first of all, to the paddock though, to join Gemma Scott, who's with Will Brown from Radical.
These cars look fantastic and they certainly are unique.
Yeah, absolutely, and the SR3 is by far and away our best-selling model. This is a car that's been in production now for 10 years. Over 800 of these sold worldwide to countries such as America and Australia. So it's a great place to start if you're looking to get up in the world of sports car and endurance racing.
What is it that makes these so appropriate for drivers who are coming into sports car racing?
Well, so many of the drivers that we see coming attracted to Radical, and particularly the Radical SR3 Challenge, are people that have maybe not raced a car with a large amount of aero before. So the beauty of the SR3 is it's a really easy car to get to grips with. It's very docile but provides a huge amount of performance. So things such as the high revving 260 brake engine, the 6-speed paddle shift, but also the enormous amount of underbody aero. It's very easy to get to grips with and to really push the car far beyond sort of where you would previously think you were able to drive.
And when they're out on track, I mean, they look seriously quick. What top speeds are we reaching?
Well, in an SR3, you're looking sort of 160 mile an hour top end. 0 to 60 is in the sort of low 3-second mark, somewhere about that region. So, in terms of lap time, it's probably similar to other national single-seater series, things such as Formula Renault. So, and obviously, in this type of racing as well, you've got a beauty of a 2-seat cockpit, so it's great for driver instruction. People can take an instructor out with them to learn the lines. You know, they're really popular for people who use them for corporate use, for entertaining. So, it's a great all-round race car.
And how much roughly does it cost to run one of these each season?
One of these, you're looking sort of for a complete season somewhere in the region of £40,000 to £50,000. The purchase price of the car's from £54,000. So you know you can be very competitive and turn in lap times and have a great racing season for under £100,000.
Pretty impressive, and they certainly look that out on track as well. Well, thank you very much for your time today, and we'll catch up with you again at some point throughout the season, I'm sure.
No problem at all.
Well, it's absolutely glorious down here on the grid for the second race of the SR3 Challenge. And this is the man who finished second a little bit earlier on in race one, Tom Jordan, racing with Alex Kapadia. And again, he's hoping to convert that fourth position on the grid into another podium. Alongside him in third position, Andy Cummings. Again, Andy has raced already this weekend in the Clubman's Cup, and he's hoping for more success. Then we come down here and see Tony Wells racing alongside, of course, Bradley Smith on pole. Bradley Smith won by almost a country mile in race one. Can he do it again? Well, he certainly seems to have the race pace, and time will tell. Don't forget, this one is a rolling start, which always looks absolutely magnificent when you see the cars coming down at the front start-finish straight here at Snetterton, ready for the green light. Let's go racing.
Thanks, Gemma. The car's poised and ready then. A rolling start, of course, in the Radical SR3 Challenge. Then 40 minutes of racing with the mandatory pit stop ahead. So away they go behind the MSVR pace car. Make a magnificent sight in the spring sunshine here at Snetterton. Perfect conditions for a very close and entertaining race, and this then is how they line up, with Bradley Smith in pole position. James Littlejohn shares the front row with him. Then row 2, Alex Kapadia and Bradley Ellis, before British GT driver Phil Keane and Matt Bell complete row 3 of a very sizable, very evenly matched pack as the lights are out on the pace car. So we're going racing this time round. It's the white car of Bradley Smith that paces the rest of the field. Alongside on the front row then the white and blue machine of James Littlejohn, then the black and blue car of Alex Kapadia and the black and yellow car of Bradley Ellis. They will be the men to watch as the field accelerates on towards Riches for the first time, waiting for the red light to flash out, and the race is underway, which it does now, and the field moves off as well. It's very, very tightly packed as they sprint along the centre straight, up the slight incline, on towards Riches. It's Smith though, who's just got his nose in front of Littlejohn as they all turn through Riches. Very busy midfield, a little bit of contact, and around we go. We've got a couple of spinners there. Max Lever's one of them. As we go in, Alex Kapadia holds on to third position through the Montreal hairpin, right on the tail of his Marks Electrical teammate James Littlejohn, who in turn is pressurising the pole sitter Bradley Smith. And it's Smith who has got the slenderest of margins as they accelerate out of Palmer, on towards the left-hand hairpin at Agostini. Back in Kapadia, who launches a move to the inside of James Littlejohn. Littlejohn though sees him covers the line. They sprint out of Agostini on towards Hamilton. Can't really overtake there, but given the amount of downforce available to these drivers, it's almost flat out. Just a very short downshift for Kapadia before he sprints into the first of the two right-handers at Oggies. Here he just wants to get a good run on James Littlejohn. He's also got Bradley Ellis right up behind him. That leading quartet really breaking some way clear of the rest of the pack as they accelerate then out of Williams on to the Bentley straight. So we go back in car with Alex Capadia looking very poised and relaxed in the cockpit, but he's got a good slipstream here on the tail of James Littlejohn. He might just be able to jink out, maybe challenge into Brundle and Nelson. So we go under the bridge, hit the brakes into Brundle, no way through there. Littlejohn though fractionally offline, accelerating out of Nelson on towards the cambered right-hander of the bomb hole. Littlejohn weaving across, and he slows dramatically, and Capadia makes contact with Littlejohn, and damage to Capadia's car as he is ailing, and that seems very strange. You just wonder if the safety car has come out, because the whole field has slowed right down. There is Bradley Smith weaving along with Littlejohn, a little bit of smoke, possibly from some rubbing bodywork. So Smith has slowed the pack right down, and that may be a result of that early incident. In fact, the red flag has come out, so the race being stopped here at Snetterton. Now let's unpick why. We go in car with Roger Green, and we saw how tightly bunched they were for the rolling start. It's a good getaway from Green. He is able to clear a couple of cars by the time they arrive into Riches. It's Ben Anderson just right up ahead of him. Green then hits the brakes through Riches, no problem there. Then the slice of contact with Max Robinson, around he goes, and unfortunately gets tagged by Max Lever. Car comes to halt, blocks the track, and the red flag is out. Well, as ever, the marshals at Snetterton doing a fantastic job. So we're getting ready for the restart, where we've got a gap on the grid where Alex Capadia could be. Capadia starting from the pit lane then, having had to pop in to change a nose cone during that pause. To do it all over again. So once more, it's Bradley Smith who paces the field along the centre straight. Again, they're all very neatly bunched as we get ready for the red lights to flash out and the race to get underway once more. Who's going to get the jump? The lights go. It's a brilliant getaway from Bradley Ellis, who moves straight across the inside line, trying to challenge Bradley Smith, and he may well succeed in so doing. They're almost three wide into Riches, and Smith gets squeezed out there by Littlejohn and Ellis as they turn through Riches. Now let's see who has emerged with the lead. Everybody this time cleanly through. It's Littlejohn who's got his nose in front. Then it's Ellis in second. Up to third goes Matt Bell. So the pole sitter Bradley Smith pushed down into fourth. Now this should be a good battle between Bell and Smith, because last year they had a titanic scrap for the Radical Clubman's Cup Championship. I'm sure Matt Bell would dearly love to finish ahead of Bradley Smith today. There is Capadia back in the field as we ride in car with him. He's on the tail of Andrew Ferguson. Capadia just looking to get a little bit of heat into his tyres as he thinks about the move on Ferguson. Lovely move there from Alex Capadia, late on the brakes. Next up ahead of him is Steve Quick. Quick new to the Radical SR3 Challenge this weekend as the leading duo, James Littlejohn and Bradley Ellis, look to trump a little bit of daylight between themselves and Matt Bell, who has got Bradley Smith right on his tail. Also showing strongly part of that group is Phil Keane. Keane in the all-white car. They're looking to get onto terms with that fight for third position. They head down towards Brundle and Nelson, and Ellis and Littlejohn busy scrapping. Then we've got Bell and Smith, not quite lows to tail. And Matt Bell in the car that he shares with Timothy Lyons, running well up the order. He'll be pleased with his performance thus far this weekend. Bradley Smith, though, got to play the long game here. He's got 40 minutes of racing ahead of them, and Smith, doing the whole race duration single-handedly, knows that he will be very well positioned after the pit stops, but he needs to, at the same time, stay in touch with the leaders in these early exchanges. So out to Morris they come, sprinting through along the centre straight. The lap reeled off, and sitting right in the wheel tracks the race leader, James Littlejohn, is former British GT star Bradley Ellis. Ellis, one of the most dependable men you can turn to pedal SR3 very, very quickly. James Littlejohn and Tony Wells, last year they were campaigning in SR8, which they're also doing in Europe, racing the SR3 Challenge this weekend, so switching between cars, maybe a little bit of a learning curve for them. Alex Capadia, well, very experienced in the Radical SR3. Here's Capadia, he and Tom Jordan, back for their second year in the SR3, and he gains a couple more places. The car in front runs wide. He's on the tail of Le Mans legend Andy Wallace, and he forces Wallace out wide, and Alex Capadia gains the place, and that's a lovely move and a scalp that Alex Capadia will be very, very proud to claim indeed. Meanwhile, the fight for third position continues between Matt Bell and Bradley Smith, the pair of them who did so much dicing last year in the Radical Clubman's Cup. And Bradley Smith, winner of the first round of this year's SR3 Challenge, at Snetterton in fairly dominant fashion. He's now in pursuit of Matt Bell as they sprint along the Bentley straight. Still, it's Little John who leads it from Bradley Ellis. And then Bradley Smith looks to challenge the inside of Matt Bell as they jink through Brundle and Nelson before accelerating on towards the cambered right-hander of the bomb hole. It's Bell, though, in the green and white car, just clear of Bradley Smith in the red, white and black number 21 car on towards the now ever-tightening Coram curve, where Little John still leads, and Little John just beginning to put a little bit of daylight now between himself and Bradley Ellis. Ellis doing everything he can to stay on terms, and then this fantastic fight that's underway for third and fourth, and Bradley Smith's got the run here on Matt Bell as they accelerate along the centre straight. They come up the slight incline and on towards Riches. The first two no change in order, but Bradley Smith goes side by side with Matt Bell. Into Riches they come. Smith looks to the outside, but it's Bell who holds the inside line as the pair of them then sprint on towards the Montreal hairpin. Again, Bell just covers across towards the inside. He's making sure there is no space for Bradley Smith to poach the place away from him. So they accelerate out of Montreal, so named after the Canadian Grand Prix corner, and then on towards the left-hander at Palmer. That will then propel them towards the next of the left-handers. That is the, again, very slightly cambered hairpin at Agostini. So still James Littlejohn and Bradley Ellis as were, first and second, and then the fight for third and fourth. Now, here they come, out of Williams onto the Bentley straight. The key here for Bradley Smith is, can he get the slipstream on Matt Bell? Because if he can try and draw alongside into the braking zone for Brundle, the traditional Snetterton overtaking manoeuvre, and that's what Bradley Smith looks to do. He dives to the inside, but Matt Bell swoops across, chops across his bows, and Smith does well to keep his nose clean as the pair of them then head on towards the bomb hole. Still Bradley Smith right on the tail of Matt Bell as they arrive into Coram Curve. Can't really overtake through Coram, or indeed into the left-hand flick at Murray's, into which they now arrive. Instead, Bradley Smith will set his sights on to a good run along the centre straight. So through they come, another lap reeled off, and it is still James Littlejohn who leads the way from Bradley Ellis. We'll take a short break. Join us in a couple of moments' time.